Happy Dynasty release weekend, everyone. So I just got back from the Commoner Crawl, a Commoner format series here in Portland, Oregon, USA. It was our first chance locally to get Dynasty on the table in the Commoner format and see what you crazy kids could do with it. In the spirit of Commoner format, at least for most of us, I wanted to do something a little fun. In celebration of Dynasty release weekend, I'm going to go through each Commoner legal card in Dynasty and assign a completely arbitrary and, yes, somewhat ridiculous rating to each of them. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, Flesh and Blood folks. Welcome back to Dice Commando, and go again, a fabulous cast. Thanks guys so much for checking in for, that's right, kind of a fun and silly cast today, but I figured what better way to cap off Dynasty release weekend and a great day of Commoner than by, that's right, having something silly and talking Commoner. Now, a couple bookkeeping things, right? So my prize today from Commoner Crawl was the Von Ebert Fest beer. That's where it was hosted, because we always hosted a brewery, because why would you not? So I figured it was only appropriate if that's what we were doing. See how full it is? Yeah, if we were drinking that this evening. So cheers on that. Also, Travis over at Fab Foundry, he's really the finances, the engine behind, right? Sean's out making stuff happen. I do the graphics, and then Travis is out, making it really happen. So, you guys know him, you love him, but Travis over at Fab Foundry, if you guys are looking to fill out those collections, which I bet a lot of you are, because let's be honest, the Dynasty packs are pretty streaky. I think that's an understatement. So if you're looking for stuff, go check out Travis, and if you do, use the code below. It gives me a kickback that I can use. I don't know if you guys saw my unboxing, but I did not do very well. So, need the love. Need the love. But yes, so anyway, use the affiliate link below and I get a small kickback for that. So, without further ado, but a little more ado, because why not? Let's get into this. Now, you can guys tell already. There's no script for this. Just going through this one by one. I did put way too much effort into the graphics. I was having a lot of fun with it. But let's go ahead and get into it. So, and we are going top down, and by top down, I mean like through the numbers, okay? So first up is Beaten Trackers. So I am giving this card is awesome. So whenever you discard a random card with 6 or more attack, you may destroy it if you do gain 1 action point, and it has Battle Worn with 1 defense. This is a phenomenal Commoner card. I'm giving it a rating of 5 rocks. Wait, what? So that's not the rock that everyone's excited about, but it's the rock. Okay. All right. So I've thus been informed that's the wrong rock. Either way, 5 rocks. Moving on. This card's awesome. All right. Next is Madcap Charger. I have both the yellow and the red here. It doesn't matter. It's a full sequence. This card is maybe the blue's not great, but this card is really good. This card's like really, really, really good. And I think might honestly be good enough that I think Rhinar can potentially be a force in between this and the next card we're going to look at. I think that the Commoner cards that he got in this set are potentially enough to put him into contention in Commoner. I don't think he's going to be tier S, but I think he'll be tier 0, whatever. I don't think he'll ever make my tier 0, but I think he could potentially do some real good things. This card is phenomenal, right? So for a blue pitch, so this card, a blue pitch, and a 6, you're swinging 10 with the club. Really, really strong. I give it 5 rocks. I think you run the yellow and the red just for the breakpoints. Really, really, really strong. Fantastic card. All right, next one is Madcap Muscle. So I just said that I think in a vacuum, I think this card gets 2 rocks. 2 rocks for me. That said, I think you still play it because I think it still improves him. Like I said, 2 rocks. I give it 2 rocks. This card's really, really, really good, but the 3 is what the 3 is what makes it weird, right? And I realized I just said in the last set that a 3 is that in the club, but I think that's different. I don't know. Let me know if, and again, as we go through this, let me know if you agree, if you disagree. But I'm giving it 2 rocks, but I think you probably still play it. But we'd have to see how it fits out. Okay. All right. Next is Rumble Grunting. I'm being generous and giving this 1 rock. I don't see this happening. And remember, I'm talking about commoner format here. I actually don't really see it being that good in anything, but it's cool in concept. I just think that, like, if you're doing all that, I think there's probably better stuff you can do out of it. So I'm giving it 1 rock out of 5. All right, so that caps off the Brutes. Moving into the Guardians, let's go ahead and look at the entire, I mean, that's basically what Guardian pulled, was the shield suite, right? So the steel braid buckler is a rare with temper. That's pretty good. Do remember your only Guardians right now are still Oldhim and Bravo, because Velda is not legal. And you basically got the shield wall package. So I think with stand, so and I'm giving this entire thing 3 shields out of 5, because I think it's strong. And I think it's actually really inventive in Commoner, and I'd like to see how it plays out. The problem is Anathos in Commoner is so good in Commoner, right? And I just don't think, because you have to run a 1 hand with this. Like, I just don't know that it might work with Oldhim. Like, let's see what Oldhim can do, because remember, he has to work on Fist, right? He can't run his hammer because that's an M. So we can potentially see what maybe Oldhim can do with like a Frostfang pummel package with this or something. It's still a lot of cards for him to be basically playing defensive, but maybe I don't know. We'll see. But so I didn't want to give I'm giving it a 3, which is in Andrew rating, right? Usually like people are like, well, I need a B or higher, right? Which means you need 4 or 5. But I think in the grand scheme of things, this is okay. And I just think it's up against Anathos. And that's, Anathos Pummel's pretty good, right? It's pretty good. It wins a lot of commoner games. So we will see what the smart kids can do with this in commoner. But it also feels like not very fun commoner to like sit there and tank for a long time. But either way. All right, next we are moving on to the Crouching Tiger package for the ninjas. And yes, I do have these ones grouped together as well. I'm giving the entire package 2 cute kitties. And the reason is that you don't really, I just don't think you have enough to make it work, right? So you have Pouncing Key, you have Key Unleashed, you have Predatory Streak. And Predatory Streak is like great, but what are you going to do with those, right? Because remember they're zeros. And then you have Tearing Shuko, which does have Battle Worn, by the way, which is actually pretty hot. But you remember the normal bracers have Battle Worn as well, right? So I don't know, and for Ninja, obviously. So I just don't think this package is developed enough to do anything with it. And I would like to be able to sit here and tell you guys that like maybe in the future it will get better. And like maybe 5 years down the road it will, but like at the rate we've seen new combo lines getting released, like there's basically a new combo line in every set. I don't think that we're going to see more support for this, at least on the commoner side. So that's why I have this. I just think it's not complete enough to work, right? I think you need that Majestic that gives them all +1s, or your Art of Wars or whatever. So not 1 kitty because there is a package there, but I'm giving it 2 cute kitties. All right, moving on. So moving into the Warriors. So Felling Swing. This is a very interesting card. So the value here is really, really good. Like, really, really good. 3 for 6 with goes. I'm giving this one 2 Steph Currys. And because he's a warrior. Haha, see what I did there? Ha, I'm so brilliant. All right, whatever, so witty. The thing is, the reason it's 2, I'm giving it 2 because it's really good for what it does, but you still have to use an axe. And right now, that's not a thing. I mean, it is, but like not really. Right? Like you're not going to use the Boltyn axes for this, the mind and body. You're not going to use that for this. So I don't think this is it could work. I mean, it could work. So I'm giving it 2 Steph Currys. Moving on, Puncture. Yes, I am predispositioned to this one because it was the Dice Commando spoiler, but I'm giving this one 5 Steph Currys. This card is phenomenal. In this format, all armor blocks for 1. So this is super good. So I'm playing, I've modified a couple of my decks now. Puncture's in Kassai, it's in Dorinthea. It's running red and blue in Dorinthea, just red in Kassai. This card is really good for this format, right? I think it completely, and arguably for CC too, right? But let's not go there. But I think this card arguably takes over Stroke of Foresight, right? It takes its slot pretty handily. And that's if there's not, that's if you don't want to unstroke and this, right? Because you're running out for blood, this, and stroke. That's a lot of over the top. It's a lot over the top. Right, next, visit the Imperial Forge. I probably even shouldn't give this 1 Steph Curry. Like, Sword and Dagger attacks have piercing 3 this turn. Great. I mean, and yes, there's a blue version that gives piercing 1. That's okay. But, like, forecasting Pierce seems really bad to me. Right? Because you just don't block. You just don't use it. So I don't really see, I mean, I guess it forces card block late game. So fair enough. But I just think it's, 1 Steph Curry. 1 Steph Curry. All right, moving on to the mech cards. It's a real close race on whether mech won the commoner race or whether brute won the commoner race. I think mech won the commoner race. So Crankshaft, let's start off with this one. When Crankshaft is boosted to pay a boost cost, put a steam counter on hyperdrive you control. Well, that's the item you're starting with in commoner. So seems good. A 2/5 with boost in of itself for red, right? A 2/5/4 or 2/5/4/3 is pretty, like, that's on curve. There's stuff in there it can replace. This card seems pretty legit to me, right? So I'm going to give this one 3 Vin. I mean, it's not super amazing in of itself, but like seems legit, right? So I'm giving it 3 3 Dominic Torettos, not Vin Diesels. Well, it is Vin Diesel, but 3 Dominic Torettos because we like to go boosty boost. All right, next is Jumpstart. This one's like a 10 Dominic Torettos. This card is phenomenal. Again, you're playing Hyperdriver with the dash boosty boost in commoner. That's what you do. This card for 1. And so this card comes out for 1 with your Hyperdriver. But it still has a cost of 2, which means you can gloves it, right? So this is a potential 1/4/7 on the glove pop to start your Chane, right? And then obviously if you have the Hyperdriver, it poops out 1 afterwards. So it's not net free because you're using your Hyperdriver, but functionally within your pitch it is. This card is, oh my God, this card is good. I mean, this card is probably legit good. Well, I guess only if you have Hyperdriver. But this card's fine. And then in commoner, this card is disgusting. So disgusting. Awesome. All right, now Urgent Delivery. You see I have half a Dominic Toretto there, right? So I have 2.5 Dominic Torettos. I'm yes and no on this one, depending on which hour of the day I look at it. This one, I mean, a 0/4. 0/4s are always good, but it of itself doesn't have boost. So it's a really good finisher. On the other hand, like, you already have some good finishers in commoner, like Overblast, and granted this one's a 0 and Overblast, and your payloads are 2. I get it. So like I said, I go back and forth on this one. That's why I'm split right down the middle right now. I need to see more play with this one to figure out where this is. So that's why I say it's 2.5 Dominic Torettos. All right, let's go ahead and look at the Assassin package on the whole. So I played Assassin today. I went 2-2 out of 4 rounds because that's how math works. It was okay. I played a very reaction-heavy deck. So that's kind of commoner in the whole, right? But if I was able to get in front, I could kind of stay on top and kind of get some cheeky stuff in, right? I'm going to give the commoner package as a whole, and remember Spider's Bite, you can run 2 of them. One of the issues with that is you can only run 2 rares. And because it's kind of the Kassai problem, like Kassai can't run, Kassai wouldn't want to anyway, but Kassai can't run Lantern because she's using both her sabers. Same case here, you want to run both your bites, but you can't really run, you could, I guess, put Lantern in, but then you only get 1 bite. So you have to go AB, you have to go the chest and the arm and the hood because you want snappies. So that's a little restrictive. And then as of right, so again, I think it's a very strong package, but as of right now, it's just not mature enough. So that's why I only gave it 4 out of 5 Assassin Creeds. All right, next is Hornet's Sting. So moving into the Ranger cards, Hornet's Sting gets a 0 out of 5 Green Rangers because card's garbage. It's awful. I think it's bad, period. People disagree with me, so fair enough. But in Commoner, this card's garbage. So moving on. All right, next, the Ranger Commoner package. We have Hemorrhage Bore, Long Shot, and Point the Tip. I give the whole package as a whole 1 Green Ranger. The reason I give them 1 Green Ranger is you just don't have the aim support that you need. Hemorrhage Bore is a basic 1/5 if there's no aim counter, and how are you supposed to get that on there, right? So from a Commoner, and I'm not saying these were designed for Commoner. That's not what I'm saying. But as applied to Commoner, this package is garbage. Just move on with your, I mean, the 0-3, I guess, but like, I don't think so. Like, I don't see it. Sorry, kids. All right, moving on to our Runeblade friends. Gotta take a drink for the Runeblades. All right, so this one is legal. This is the Annals of Sutcliffe. I give it 1 Mace Windu lightsaber because I figure like a purple lightsaber feels about right. Like if you know, Runeblades, Warrior Wizards, seems about right. Right? Anyone? No one? All right, fair enough. 1 purple Mace Windu lightsaber for Annals of Sutcliffe. Once per turn action for 3, draw a card. If an attack action and a non-attack action were pitched this way, create a Rooney. So, I mean, it's okay in that, like, sometimes you'll grasp, but, like, it's different when you can grasp and swing versus pitching 2 cards. It just, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. Using up that rare slot, I don't see it. Right, Aether Slash, I'm giving this one 3 Mace Windu lightsabers, so 1 for 4. When Aether Slash attacks, if a non-attack was pitched to play it, deal 1 arcane to any target. So the reason I think this is okay, I mean, it's not what you want to do, but the reason I think it's okay is because it's a 2-card hand. And like potentially if you had this in Arsenal, it could potentially be just a 1-card hand where you like got screwed or something, right? So I think this one's not bad, right? Now remember, you do specifically have to pitch to this one. So like if you were to, I don't know, pitch a blue non-attack into like consuming and then snappies it into this one, it wouldn't count. So you have to specifically pitch it to this one. So a lot of times you're probably going to try to pair this with your snappies. I'm not saying it's like the bestest card in the world, but I think it's okay, right? I think it's okay. So three Mace Windu lightsabers. All right, next is Runic Reaping. So I'm going to give this one 4 Mace Windu lightsabers. So this one, for cost of 1, for the red pitch, the next Runeblade attack action card you play this, when it hits, create 3 Rune Chant tokens. I mean, that's a threat. That is a threat. If an attack action card was pitched to play this, the next Runeblade attack action card gains +1. Just +1, but still threatening those 3 Runies. So this itself has go again, which I mean, it has to. It does not give the next, so it's no like Mavian or anything like that. But I think this one's pretty strong. Like it forces blocks. Again, you have a choice what you want to pair with it on. Now, on Viscera, you can do this into Shrill. That's pretty freaking scary, right? Into even like a blue Shrill, that's pretty scary. So that's why this one in of itself isn't good, but this one in the right package I think is really good. So that's why I'm giving it 4 Mace Windu lightsabers. And then next is Skyfire Lanterns. Reveal the top. I actually have a story about the Illusionist version of this for a little bit later. But Skyfire Lanterns, giving it one Mace Windu's lightsaber. We've talked about that. It's just too high rolly for a red-blue, sometimes yellow type of deck like the Runeblades are. Right, moving into the Wizards. Searstone, action for 3. Look at the top card of your deck and put it on the bottom and create a Ponder token, which then actually cracks on your turn and backfills. So it's a little weird, right? I'm giving this, I'm not a Wizard player. Maybe there's some, but again, that's why I'm giving it 0 big brains. 0 big brains. But again, the big brains can tell me why I am wrong, but I just can't see you not using the Crucible staff or Waning Moon. I just don't see it. All Right, next is Prognosticate. So I'm giving this one 3 big brains. So for 0, deal 3, and then Surge if this deals more than 3, opt 1. My issue on the whole with this series they've had in this set is you have to pump it, and then if it even, because it has to, right, so you have to put the effort in to pump it, which is fine, but if it deals more than 3, right, so say you come in for 4, I just pitch 1, I still take 3, but it has to be more than 3, right? So you're really counting on them being taxed out in order to do what you want to do, and the reward is an opt 1. So it being a 0-3, I think is fine, and that's why I give the 3 big brains. But in terms of the upside, are there other things maybe you'd want to use? Probably so. Right, next is Sap. I'm also giving this one 3 big brains, basically for the same reason. It's functionally the same card, right? So everything I just said is they're the same. They're the same, right? I mean, they're not the same because they do different things, but functionally they're the same. All right. Next is Tempest Aurora. I'm giving this one 2 big brains. So for 0, the next card you play this turn with cost 2 or less and an arcane effect instead deals that much arcane plus 1. So it's a 0 for a pump. It's fine. Again, it fits in that package. But I just feel this would have worked in like a draft. I think that's fair. Like in a draft set or something would have made more sense because you're like, okay, you're trying to play a draft line, something like that. But when you have, it's free, I get it, but like the value of a card potentially being like 3, like being a blue, it's pretty good, right? So, and I get it, like it scales with the 3-2-1 in terms of the cost on the blues, but it just feels, I don't know, it feels like bad. It feels like it's not bad value, but it feels like there's better value out there in terms of you only have 40 cards, you have to choose what you use. I think this gets 2 big brains. All right, now moving into the Illusionist. So Wave of Reality. So when Wave of Reality is destroyed, create a Spectral Shield token and ward 1. Right, so ward is a non-optional pop, right? So you take damage, or you would potentially, before you take damage, this pops, non-optional. So it's a handpiece that's worth 2 defense because the Spectral Shield token now, by the way, those have ward now, right? Instead of doing what they do, they just have ward now, which makes sense. Isn't the gloves just better? I think it is. I think making one of your big attack, you do the veiled one into one of your attack, you pop the gloves, do veiled, and I think it just makes more sense to me. It just seems like way more upside on the gloves. And these are gloves, but you know what I mean, right? The Illusionist gloves that we've got. So anyway, I have 0 waifus on this one. All right, Spectral Prowler. So this one I actually gave 5 waifus. So this, and you could disagree with me on this one. I think this one's kind of cool, right? So it's a 0-4 Phantasm. So when you play it, if you control a Spectral Shield, it gains Go Again. So I find that very interesting, right? So if you build, and I'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag, which is, I guess, appropriate because there's a Spectral Kitty on there, a Spectral Panther. But so Steven was actually doing the Water Glow Lanterns yellow with a mostly yellow deck, and then he was able to do some pretty cheeky things with it today. I did end up winning that match, but I was not prepared for a lot of the stuff that he brought, and I thought it was pretty cool. So I think that over iterations, there's a play there. And the reason that was cool was because he could essentially poop one out, and then he was playing Spectral Prowler and doing that stuff. So I thought that was really, really inventive. So a lot of credit there. So, and I had already had this image made before that, but I think it's really inventive. So whether or not it ends up being good or not, I think this card in of itself, I think is I'm going to give it 5 waifus because why not? I like the concept. I like the design. Fair enough. It's my party I can cry if I want to, right? All right, next is Spectral Rider. Aside from being an absolutely gorgeous rainbow foil, this one is interesting. So it's a 3 for 8 with Phantasm. And again, it gets overpower if you control your Spectral Shield. You can still get popped just like anything else. It's fine, right? I mean, it's good in the right match. It's not in the right deck because you can't change your deck, but it's really good in the right matchup. So 3 waifus. All right, moving on 2 water glow lanterns. Like I said, I should be showing the yellow here because that's actually what I saw some pretty crazy things done with. Like I said, the overlays were made before I went into today's commoner crawl. Steven had a really cool deck and he was doing some really cool things with it. I don't think it changes my overall opinion of these lantern cards because it's just a little too high rolly. But when it hits, it's good. It's especially for Runeblades, when it hits, it's good. But I don't see how it works. So 1 waifu for that one. All right, going on to the generic cards. Wow, we're moving faster than I thought. All right, going on to the generic cards. Ornate Tessin. This card is phenomenal. Every turn, I can pay 1 and cycle a card. Oh, wait, no. I have to destroy it. I'm giving this 1 Dynasty pack. And I'll be honest, I don't know. Dynasty's not impressing me as packs to open, so maybe it does deserve a Dynasty pack. But I don't know. I don't know if this actually deserves a Dynasty pack. Like, for 1, destroy it and put 1 card, cycle 1 card. Not feeling it. Not feeling it. All right, and then next is the Spell Fray package. So this gets an extra Dynasty pack bonus because they brought some stuff back. The Spell Void stuff can do... It's good for, like, if you're packing AB3 and then you also don't need that other equipment slot and you just want to throw it in. Because running more than AB3 probably doesn't get you much. And then this can, like, bail you out on a big Kano turn or something. So I think that these are fine. The reason they're so low is that they're rares. So a lot of heroes can't, because you only get 2, right? You only get 2. A lot of heroes can't afford to run them. Others can, though. So fair enough. So fair enough. All right, so that is the full list, I believe, of commoner legal stuff. So first off, let me know, what are you guys thinking? Again, having a little bit of fun with the ratings. Hopefully you guys found that funny. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I had a good time with it, so whatever. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the list and the feedback. Are there combos I'm missing? Probably are. Let me know what you guys are seeing that I'm not. And yeah, I think that pretty much does it. So again, I hope everything's going well with you guys with your Dynasty packs and all of that. Hopefully way, way, way better than it went for me this weekend. For those of you guys who watched the live stream, felt pretty bad on my end. But again, thank you to my friends for making trades happen. I appreciate it. Got that rock out of my hands and got some boots on the table. So anyway, enough ranting at this point. One last time, thank you all for watching. See you in the comments. Go Commando.